Let's see if I go to the browser. Well, looks like it is running a Phoenix server, but I don't think something is running correctly here. This is, I guess, their stack trace. But again, I don't have any terminal window here, so I can't direct it to any exception. I'm just going to give it this and we'll see how far it can get. The error is occurring because we added LiveView specific code in our index template but haven't properly set up the controller. Let me fix this by updating the index template to remove the LiveView components and use regular Phoenix components instead. Okay, don't know what that means already. But it looks like we're removing a modal. Now it wants to kill the PHX server and start it again. I wish I could see the terminal window again. Oh, maybe it's one of these. No. Nope. Previous projects I was able to see the terminal directly. And I don't know how to get back to that. But we will run it again. Checking if the server is running. They've removed the LiveView specific code, which is actually one of the nicer features of Phoenix, so I'd like to get back to that at some point. Let me see if it works now. Hey, look at that. All right, so I got something with a pretty modern looking UI. Okay, see if we have any errors here in the console. No errors. Let's try to add something here. Okay, got a nice calendar picker. And I'll save to do. Hey, looks like it worked. Got a nice flash message here. Posted data back to the server. Back to the list of to-dos. Let's see if I could edit. Okay, and the edit seems to work also. That's good. Let's see if I could delete. Yeah, okay, so we have the most basic of CRUD. I'm able to create, edit, delete. That's good. I'd like to play a little bit with that LiveView, though. I'm going to ask if it could restore that. Okay, it says yes, we can do that. Let's make sure we have the LiveView dependencies in mix.exs. I'd also like to know where my database file is. Maybe this must be at this to-do list dev.db. Nice. All right, so we have a migrations table. That's very nice. SQLite sequence. That must be an internal table. And then my list of to-dos. And I just deleted the last one, so there's my database. Very nice. Okay, we are creating some new files. I didn't even set up Git yet, so I should have committed that, but I didn't. So we have a lot of changes going on now. I broke my cardinal rule. So. Got a lot going on here. A lot of code changes. Updating the router to use LiveView. Now we have some updated dependencies. We'll run that also. Oh, cascade error. The model produced an invalid. I lost that. The model produced an invalid tool call trying again. Okay, it claims it's done. Let's see what happens. The beauty of LiveView, if you're not familiar with it, and again, I've only seen it in some video demos on YouTube, it creates a WebSocket, and the data should be in real time. So if you have multiple people looking at the page and somebody updates or adds something, they should be able to see it without having to refresh the page. So if you're building a chat client, or maybe trying to interact with an LLM, and it feeds you a little bit of data while it goes and retrieves more data, that's kind of where this would be used. And I think that's a really nice out-of-the-box feature, especially if we could get AI to set up all of the boilerplate for us. Okay, let's see if that works. Nope. Exception. Really should have committed before, but live and learn. Okay, so we need to add the render function to our LiveView module. Let's update the to-do live module. Okay, 59 new lines of code. We can now remove the separate index template since we've moved its contents into the LiveView module. Again, I have no experience working in this framework at all. I see a lot of code coming and going. I don't know if this is best practice. I have no idea. I'm just accepting and we'll go with it. With Python, I had a little bit of a clue, and I could kind of go back and forth. This, I don't know at all. So that's the danger and beauty of vibe coding, I guess. I don't know what any of this means. Don't know what any of this means. No route path, so I think we have some bad routes. It kind of it ignores it though. It says, see if the server started successfully. I'm going to kill the server and start it again. I really wish I could see this terminal window. Oh boy. Missing some files or directories. This looks ugly. I don't think that's going to work. Let's see. Nope. Now we have this. Like something is not rendering correctly. Now it needs to update the root layout template to properly render LiveView content. Let's check and update the root layout. Sounds like a fine idea. Okay, made a few changes. All right. couple of lines, removed a couple of lines. Again, I don't know enough to argue for or against, so let's see what happens. Seeing exceptions again when the server starts up, but it's ignoring these. I don't know why. This might be the terminal. Don't know. Server starts up, but full of exceptions on startup again, but it doesn't seem to detect that. Well, looks like maybe it did detect some exceptions this time around. It analyzed this file, and now it's simplifying the app layout to just focus on the to-do list content. Getting rid of all this. Update the router to make to-dos the default page. And let's restart again. Get some more exceptions again. Now we have a port conflict. Let's be more aggressive in killing the existing processes. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening now, but we're spiraling. It says, I see the issue now. We need to update the paths in our LiveView code since we moved to-dos to the root path. Let's fix that. Okay, we have a couple of code changes here. Gonna restart the server one final time. Looks like some more route errors here. It seems to be having an issue with stopping and restarting the server. Not sure why. Looks like some code here I might have missed accepting. Don't know. Got a lot of code coming and going again here. I'm just going to tell it to continue. Checking server status again. Still have some issues with the old controller routes. Let's remove the controller since we're using LiveView now. Restarting the server one more time. Nope. More route issues. Try one more time with a different approach. Looks like it's trying a different port number now. Again, for some reason, it's having an issue stopping the server. I don't know why. Trying to pass in a port, which is an unknown option. That's not good. We'll try to maybe put the port in the config instead. Again, don't know why that's necessary. Shouldn't be. Some ugly stuff going on here. And I'm totally at its mercy. I have no idea. I have no idea how to debug this at all. Server's running on port 4001. Let's try that. I have a feeling that's not going to work. Oh, I'm wrong. Okay, well, got a little bit further. This stuff is just not rendering though, so I'll copy and paste this. I see this code on the home page. Okay, it's looking at the code, trying to figure out what's going on. Trying to check on the correct version of Phoenix. Now we're updating the to-do live module to fix the table rendering. Okay, that was a major code change. Added 105 lines, removed 50. Replace the core component table with a custom table implementation that should render correctly. Okay, let's see what happens. Really wish I could see what's going on in this terminal here. More warnings here. Trying to kill the server again. And run the server again. See, I get some errors and then it scrolls out of this little window and I can't get to the terminal, so I can't really determine what's going on. This might be informational, I don't know, but I saw some errors go by and then they scroll off the screen. Got this same mess again. It says the server's running. Let's try again. Nope, still got some of this ugly stuff here. One more time. Okay, checking the header component definition. Now in this to-do live file, we are adding 6 lines, removing 8 lines. And I'm going to try to run the server again. Having a very hard time killing and restarting these servers. Ooh, see some 500 errors on startup now. Oh, maybe that's not a 500. I don't know what that was. Okay, let's try one more time. Nope, same problem. So I think we're kind of stuck here. Like I said, I did not branch, I didn't commit like an idiot, so now I'm in a state where even the very basics don't work. So I'm going to do something a little radical here. I'm going to ask it to tear down the entire project, and now that I have everything installed, let's rebuild this. Let's rebuild it with LiveView though from line 1, because I think going from non-LiveView to LiveView is getting us messed up. So let's tear down the entire project and rebuild it. Let's see how far this gets me. All right, I'm saying instead of trying to clean this up, let's start over. Recreate this project using LiveView. You can remove all the code and directories you need to in order to start again. Let's see if it likes that better. I'll help you recreate the project from scratch with LiveView. First, let's clean up the existing files. So it's removing a bunch of stuff. A bunch of code here just got deleted. I was kind of hoping everything would go, but I guess not. Now let's create the new LiveView structure, making directories, and create the core components. I really wanted to wipe everything out. I might have to start a new project and ask it to start from LiveView, but let's see what happens. (161 lines from this new core components ex file. You can see these are xed out. These are the files that must have deleted. Just getting rid of all those. Then we have a new root HTML file. Sure. App HTML, layouts file, and to-do live.es file. Okay, that was a big one. Added 177 lines. Looks good to me. Now we're creating a form component file. This has 101 lines. This looks great too. See some socket stuff. That's the mechanism behind LiveView, so that's good. Another cascade error. Will not create files that already exist. Good idea. It says the router looks good. Now let's restart the server to apply all of our changes, and hopefully this works. Seeing some errors again. Let me fix the form component issue. Okay, we removed 13 lines from the core components file. And we're going to try to restart again. Compilation errors. Now we're adding the modal component. Alright, so I was able to see that it's complaining about something to do with the modal. So it's adding the modal component. Okay. Another cascade error. Internal error. So now I think we're generating 500 errors on cascade. And it says done. You are far from done. You have to tell it again to continue. Okay, so it didn't lose track. Let me add the model. Let me add the modal component to core components.ex. Okay, added 96 lines to this file, and we'll restart the server again. Guess what? I see some errors here. It says it's connected to the Phoenix LiveView socket. That's very nice. Again, I wish I could see this terminal window. Maybe I could feed it some of these errors, but the errors scroll off the screen. I can't get to them. Nope. Okay, restart the server again. No, still getting that no such file or directory, but it scrolls off the screen and I can't get to it. But we're having issues with Tailwind now. Let me fix Tailwind configuration. Wow, no idea. Try to start the server again. Nope. And it says, great, the server is now running. Let me check if we need to make any other changes to get the to-do list working properly. Didn't come back with anything, so see if I refresh this. Hey, got something here. The styling is not great. But let's see what happens. Well, button does not work. Got this weird loading progress bar. No errors in the console. You can see some of the WebSocket stuff, which is cool. So, we have the WebSocket connected, but I can't. Oh, there you go. I tried to create a new one. I double-clicked by accident. Now we have an exception. Okay, I'm just going to tell it that if I click the new to-do button, nothing happens. We're checking the routes again. The issue seems to be with the modal component, which would make sense because when I click new, I expect to see the modal. Let me check its implementation. It says I found the issue. We need to add the JavaScript functions for showing and hiding the modal. Let me add those. Okay, we added a bunch of lines. Got some JavaScript here to hide and show. That seems reasonable. Let's restart the server again. Still having issues with killing and restarting the server. Now it says it's updating the layout to handle flash messages properly. That was actually working before, but that was a long time ago. And let's restart the server one last time. Has to try to kill the server again. And start the server again. Okay, it says it's now running properly, added JavaScript, flash message, modal should work. Let's see. It's still very ugly. If I hit new, nope, doesn't work. That sucks. Oh, if I double click, class not found. Uh-oh, broke something. So again, not knowing this framework at all, if I double click this, if you look at the URL, it actually changes to /new. Don't know, some type of component error here. Now it looks like we have some WebSocket error in connections. Oh, and the server's down. So server crash with whatever I just did. So much for Elixir and Phoenix being so resilient, if that's all it took to crash it. Okay, it says the server is running again. Try it again. Actually, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't crash it. I had gone back to 4000, but we should be working on 4001. New to do does not work. Okay, I'm saying the server is up now, but that new to do button still does nothing when clicked. Checking the components again. I see the issue. We need to add the live session configuration to handle the LiveView navigation. Let me update the router. Now let me also update the to-do live component to properly handle the live action. removed 18, and that took quite a while to generate. And we're going to restart the server again. Cannot start Phoenix Live Server reload because we cannot listen to the file system. Okay. This says it should be working. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're back here. New to do. Nope, still does not work. I did just want to do a little test though. I want to see how LiveView works. As I understand it, this WebSocket is connected to the server. So if I go and make a change directly to the database, I think that change should appear here if this is my list of to-dos. So let me see if that actually works. So if I go into the database, I'm just going to add something here. Now, let's see if it takes that. Not quite sure how to save or write changes. Okay, looks like it worked. If I go back to the browser, nope, not here. If I refresh, nope. Another exception. Okay, so cannot load as type date field. Maybe it has to be 0101. Write changes. Let's see what happens now. Nope, still doesn't like that. So what if I remove this line? Write changes. Nope. Let's try to reopen the database. Okay, it looks like this due date is just, if I'm reading this correctly, just plain text. But the application might be looking for the date in a certain format. So I'm just going to try one more time. Okay, again, the database doesn't complain, but maybe the application doesn't like something. Yeah, it doesn't like something in here. Okay, so that's not much of a demo. I will delete this row. Okay. Well, I think we've spiraled here again. I'm sorry I didn't commit when it was working, but I'm going to stop this video here, and I'm going to create a whole new project and ask it to do live view from the start. Maybe I could get a little bit further that way. So, thank you for watching.